With a WWE star hinting at retirement and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Talking about the situation with CM Punk and AEW, John Morrison said on the Bootleg Universe podcast, what I think is funny is how he dealt with it, because in some ways, he just lashed out at the entire AEW roster. Whether they deserved it or not, I don't know. Like, from his point of view, they did. From my point of view, I would never personally say that about a lot of the roster, just because I don't think it's good business. On the other hand, that's what he's known for, and he just reverted to character like dropping pipe bombs, right? He's upset, and he just kind of reverts to like, I'm going to blow the whistle on MJF on everybody I don't like on this roster, like screw Colt Cabana. He's obsessed with Colt Cabana, like screw everybody, like everything's bothering me. I'm going to air it right now and call everyone on their crap. As Konnan is dealing with health issues at the moment, the Wrestling Observer reported that Konnan 58 is having significant kidney issues and is looking for a kidney donor. Explaining why he is now using his real name, Jack Perry, in AEW, Jungle Boy told Comic Book, I initially went with the whole Jungle Boy thing as a way to not be myself, or more what I guess people thought I was. It was my way of really getting people to just watch my wrestling, which was really important to me. I wanted people to just watch me do what I did in the ring. I didn't want to have to talk or have a character that other people were trying to push on me. It was like, I'm Jungle Boy. I don't talk, I don't do anything. You just gotta watch what's in the ring. A lot of that was to avoid my personal life in a way. Christian goes and just blows all that out of the water and is going nuts every week saying all this stuff. At that point, it's kind of like, what am I waiting for now? This seems like the time to go for it. Recalling Gunther's first interaction with Vince McMahon ahead of Survivor Series in 2019, Road Dogg said on his podcast, Vince didn't watch the NXT program. Vince heard the social media reports about the program. He read the emails about the ratings. He got the information, but he didn't know who Gunther was. He didn't know what Gunther then Walter brought to the table. He very much was not the guy out scouting talent in independent shows in other countries. That's not Vince McMahon. And so he didn't know what Walter brought to the table. Excuse me, Gunther. I want to say it correctly. Gunther brought to the table. So he would feed stuff like that, thinking that the layperson may not know him either. And I don't think that's wrong thinking, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's wrong to think there are people watching the show who do not know who Walter was, you know what I mean? I think that makes perfect sense. On her YouTube channel, Ronda Rousey would mention how she would like to rename the women's championships in WWE, saying, I don't want to say women in title anymore. And I think they are kind of resistant to taking it out. So then I was like, can I just not have to say it? So then that's kind of where it's at. WWE Hall of Famer Madusa would call out Rousey for these comments when speaking on the A to the K wrestling show. Ronda Rousey came out saying, I'm taking the name women's out of the title. I'm like, what for? I mean, so we just call it the title? Intercontinental is for men. I get what she's saying, right? But then if we just have SmackDown, does that mean then it's for men and women? Is it an intergender now? I'm confused, but I understand what she's trying to say. When picking an MVP of pro wrestling for the week, Thunder Rosa said on Busted Open Radio, I'm gonna say Mandy Rose, and I want to give an appreciation to her because she's worked so darn hard in the last month representing the NXT brand and also working on her craft. When she was in Raw and SmackDown all that time, people did not have any respect for her, a lot of the time because of her lack of skills. Like, there's a lot of little things here and there, but I feel like she really has took the time. She has developed her character really, really well. People tune in to see her. She always makes everybody talk about her. This last match she had, she's showing a lot of fire in the fact that she's taking a lot more risks as a champion. It really shows that she's growing, and she is really committed to what she's doing right now. She's really committed to represent NXT's women's division as a champion. She might not be a high flyer, she might not be super spectacular, but what she's doing, I think, is very important, because that shows you if you give time to someone and if you believe in them, that's how you can develop, and that's how you can become. I think Mandy Rose deserves a little more respect because she's really working very, very hard. Rose replied, "Thank you. Wow, very well said. Appreciate those kind words." Rosa wrote back, "You are welcome. I think highly of you." With reports claiming that Thunder Rosa had backstage heat with the likes of Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, she addressed this on Busted Open Radio, saying, "I feel like some people are just trying to fish for things. I just want to say thank you to AEW because they have been grateful with me, and they have been understanding of my injury, and they're allowing me to take my time. I want to extend the olive branch for anyone who has an issue with me because I really want to grow and just put things down and just hash it out. I think it is time, and me, as Melissa Cervantes, I don't want to have any issues with anybody." When it comes to SummerSlam 2023 and what city will host the event, Sean Ross Sapp said, "Fightful Select has learned that a frontrunner for the 2023 Summer Spectacular is Detroit, Michigan, though we've not heard that anything is finalized. WWE sources have indicated that Detroit was being looked at to those the show in recent months." Taking to Instagram, former WWE star Gabbie Tuft recalled her confrontation with a man at Disneyland that was making fun of her. Here's the clip.
So I'm here at a hotel in Anaheim, and I usually don't talk about negative things ever, but it has been a long time since someone has made fun of me right next to me. I took Mia to Disneyland today for her birthday, and it was great. I met so many of my fans and followers, and we took pictures and photos, and I was at the happiest place on earth. And then we were walking across the Splash Mountain Bridge, and some college kid, 5 feet from me, says to his friend, oh my God, look to your right, look to your right. And the guy looks at me, and I look over at him, and the guy that said it put his head down really quick. And I walked right up to him, I said, I can hear you. And he put his head down, trying to make like he didn't hear me. I looked him right in the face. I said, hey, I can hear every word you say. And he looks up, he says, I'm sorry. And I said, no. I said, my child is with me. What's wrong with you? And I considered to say, or I continued to say a couple of other choice words, but it just baffles me. It threw my whole day off. And it took so many more, at me I counted, it was 11 or 12 more of you, my wonderful friends, my followers, my fans, that stopped me and asked for photos to snap me out of it. Not even photos, you just wanted to say hi and meet me, and I got to give hugs to every one of you that was there at the park today. It was at Disneyland. And I'm just so grateful for this following, for every one of you that supports me. Not one of you knew what I went through today. You were all just so kind and so happy. And I was elated to see every single person. I'm so grateful for every one of you that supports me and my family. I just have to say that I know so many big, strong men that would have squished this guy. But they wouldn't have done that because even though they could, their intentions come from the heart. Men that protect our country, that would lay down their lives for their family and for their friends, without a second thought, that would never do what this person did to me. Because they understand that what you are doesn't matter, and only who you are is what matters. It's the inside, it's the soul. And so to every alpha male out there who has a big heart and protects those that can be protected, thank you. Thank you. And to every one of you fans and followers out there that came up to me today, thank you. It was you that was helping me today. I'm so very, very thankful, very grateful for you.
Talking about the prospect of pro wrestling being an Olympic sport, Chris Jericho said on his podcast that I literally want to go in front of the IOC, the International Olympic Community, and pitch pro wrestling as an Olympic sport. Now you might go, how can you do that? It's all, now hold on, stop right there. Gymnastics, pairs gymnastics, figure skating, pairs figure skating, what is that? It's two people working together to put on the best performance possible. There's no way we could not do the same with pro wrestling. When it comes to dental treatment for AEW stars, Britt Baker revealed to Muscle and Fitness that anytime there's like a medical, tooth, or mouth related injury, the doctors actually call me to the medical room. The team doctors have me go look at the teeth. When discussing the original plans for the Shield breaking up, Seth Rollins told Steve Austin on Broken Skull Sessions what happened was they wanted to break us up back in January 2014, maybe December. They wanted to go to Ambrose and Roman at WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans. I was left out, maybe a special referee or something. I was like, are you kidding me? They wanted to break us up and we had just turned the corner into being baby faces. Over time it was like, they're too cool. We can't boo them anymore. We were like, no, what are you doing? We're not ready for that yet. We have a whole run as baby faces. There's a lot of merch money on the table. We went to Hunter, we talked about it, we ended up hashing it out and worked with the Outlaws, Road Dogg and Billy Gunn, and Kane at WrestleMania, which was a truncated match, a glorified squash, because you guys, Austin, The Rock, and Hulk Hogan, talked for 35 minutes, and the Daniel Bryan and Hunter went out and did 35 minutes. You know how it goes. Falls downhill. We had about 90 seconds, and we went out and did our thing. Then we did 2 matches with Evolution. No peep of a turn, no peep for a breakup. No one said anything. We wiped the floor with Evolution. It was a clean sweep in the elimination match. They pull us into the office and say, tonight is the night. Speaking of the Shield, Jon Moxley revealed how the group was afraid of getting fired, telling Metro.co.uk, I only remember the good stuff and how great it was, but at the time when you're in that, there's always the threat. People are getting fired all the time. A lot of people are there for a year or two, they never get called up, and then they get fired. You'll always have this fear that you're never going to get called up, so this adds a lot of stress. You just can't relax. Every day that passes down there before you get called up, you're like, is this ever going to happen? Am I going to get fired today? When asked about CM Punk following the all-out backstage brawl involving the Star and the Elite, AEW President Tony Khan told Inside the Ropes, the whole thing, I was mostly trying to not comment on that whole situation, but I'm wishing everybody the best and hoping for the best for everyone and hoping for the best for AEW and the fans. Talking about his career in WWE thus far, Edge seemed to hint at retirement when speaking to the Nation Network, as he said, that's the key. The first time I was told, you gotta hang it up, that's it, you're done, it was WrestleMania. I retired world champ, and that sounds Cinderella, but I just didn't know. That made it hard to chew on all those years, but had to accept it and move on with what life is now. I got to start an amazing, beautiful family, and the acting thing started to kind of take off a little bit, but when I had the chance to get this back, the first thing I thought is, I want to retire in Toronto, because again, I know the window is not open for long, but if I can do it there, I think then I'll be able to go right. I'm good. That was the last thing to kind of check off. I didn't come back to win 4 more championships or anything like that. I really just came back to have fun, try and help teach a new generation of talent that I never got my hands on before. I always say, I call us storytellers. I always intended to come back and tell a hell of a story for 3 or 4 years and then ride off into the sunset. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.